Wishing you all a wonderful Shubha Kritu Samvatsara. May it bring a lot of Shubha in your life. In our Vedic culture, Shubham is a goal to look forward to. Moksham, Shubham, these are goals to look forward to. That's why it's a Shubhakritu Samvatsara. The last 2 years have been tough on people. Tough on people who were pursuing Artha Kama. Not on people who were pursuing Moksha. People who were pursuing Artha, pursuing Kama. Non-aligned from Dharma. And Asura Shakti took its toll. Get careful. Asura Shakti took its toll on people following Artha, Kama, non-aligned with Dharma. Willy-nilly, some people following Dharma were also hit. That's a different subject altogether. We look at all that sometime. What is collateral damage, we have all seen. We are now in chapter 4. Let's do a little chanting and then I'll take you to chapter 4. Om Shri Krishna Paramatmane Namaha Atha Chaturtyodhyayah Bhag Shri Bhagavanu Vacha. We have to learn from chapter 4, verse number 4, verse number 13. We will chant 3 shlokas before that, okay? Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha, Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha, Manmaya Mamupashrita, Manmaya Mamupashrita, Bahavo Jnana Tapasa, Utamadbhavamagata. So do all your actions in a spirit of Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, Ishvara Prasada Buddhi. When we perform all our actions with Ishvara Arpana Buddhi and Ishvara Prasada Buddhi, what happens? Putaha, you become, you get purified. Purified from what? Anxiety-related pressures, conflict-related pressures, guilt-related pressures, regret-related pressures, hurt-related pressures. Puta. Pure doesn't mean only, some people, puta mean they look at you as a dirty villain. So all of us are under pressure of conflict, under pressure of some kind of guilt, regrets. I wish I had done that. I wish I had not done this. I wish I had handled that wiser. I wish that day I had not done this. I wish what I'm thinking today, I had done that day. Hey, why didn't I think like this 1 hour before? Yeah, free from all these conflicts. When you do it in a Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. Not easy. Okay, if it were easy, it would have been practiced for hundreds of years. And such a person, Jnana Tapasa, Jnana Tapasa, Jnana Tapasa is a lovely word. They do Jnana Rupa Tapas. What is Jnana Rupa Tapas? The problem is that of ignorance, and ignorance is overcome by only one way, Jnanam. The solution for Ajnana is Jnana, not karma, not yoga, not touch of the Guru, not sparsha of the Guru, not netra diksha of the Guru. But people coming and telling me, I met Swamiji, Swamiji gave me netra diksha. I felt a tingling sensation all around. Maybe it was some insect crawling. All this. Okay, nice sensations, nice emotions. Jnana. Ajnana problem is jnana. Something, you have lost your way, you don't know your way. And you say, how to reach that place? The shopkeeper comes and says, come sir, have a cup of tea and go. Will you stop there for tea? Maybe you'll say, tell me the way, give me the tea, I'll drink your tea and possibly look for the way at leisure. So like that, Problem for Ajnana is Jnana Tapasa. Okay, and what happens? A lot of people, Mat Bhavam. If you do Jnana Tapas, then you pursue Jnana. You reach me alone. When you are on that route, you have no other way to go. You reach me alone. So then verse number 11, the teacher says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tans tathaiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashah. In whatever form you invoke me, I bless you in that form. So there is this, the problem is not with other faith people. I have no problems with Hindu, Christians and Muslims and other such. The problem is mostly only with Hindus. Okay, they come and they have so many forms. They don't even say so many forms. I would say you're a wiser. They have so many gods. No. Let there be so many gods. What's your problem? God doesn't have a problem. Why do you have a problem? Then let there be so many gods. So he says, whichever form you invoke me, if you invoke me as this Devata, I will invoke you as this Devata. I will bless you as that Devata. See, let's say I'm sitting and talking to you and somebody wants to talk to me. They don't want to disturb me. We are on live. Therefore, the person doesn't want to disturb me. So the person takes a long stick, or let's say a peacock feather, some kind of thing, and tickles one corner of my big toe. Don't I respond? To make me respond to you, which part are you have got to touch? If you are doing eye contact, fine. Suppose I am not in a mood to do eye contact. Don't we use phone and say, hello, is it so and so? Many people don't even ask because they know the voice. And if that's wrong, there some people say, which sound you reach? You are eating in a restaurant. You say, that's not the response. You have to say, Mr. Waiter, Mr. So and so, please come. Number 37, so come. There are wives who respond to whom the husband says. The wife says, no, and the husband will respond. Is it not so? So that being the situation, to invoke God, what form? If I have, there are so many gods, what's your problem? I was in a group, they were followers of Baha'i faith. I was asking them, what do they do? What does the Baha'i faith talk about? And the three of the 4 people who were, they asked me to come and tell a story there. And I asked them about where are they from? What faith were they following? All of them were Hindus. I said, what's your problem? What led you to God? They said, so many gods. I said, are you comfortable with the Baha'i is basically, it's a break off from Islam. So somebody called Abdul Baha said something, and therefore they are persecuted in Persia. They're not allowed to enter Persia. They're killed if you are in Persia. Egypt and all these places, they're not allowed to enter. Safe place, India. They come to India, persecuted by Muslims, they come to India. Sitting in India, they say India has many gods. One of these gods allowed you, This is a problem. Whatever God you invoke, you are invoking me alone. Whatever part of my body you touch, you are touching me alone. Okay. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tans tataiva bhajamyaham. Bhajami aham. I respond to you. So you wave your hand, I'll wave my hand. You wink, I wink. Okay. Ye yatha mam prapadyante. Okay. Tans tataiva bhajami aham. Mama vartmanam anuvartante. Okay, people. Yeah, vartame mam yata prapatyaham tam eva bhajami manushyaha sarvasha mama anuvartante. So the people, buddhiman manush. Okay, the intelligent one knows that whatever God you are invoking me alone. You are invoking apparently a finite God in a form, in a rupa. Through the rupa, you are invoking the infinite alone. On the Republic Day, you salute the flag with great respect. Through a finite form, you are invoking the nation, the infinite nation. With the Rudraksha, you are invoking the infinite Maheshwara. With the Saligrama, you are invoking the infinite Mahavishnu. Is Mahavishnu infinite or Parameshwara infinite? If you think Parameshwara is infinite, Parameshwara is infinite. If you think Mahavishnu is infinite, Mahavishnu is infinite. Between Mahavishnu and Parameshwara, there is no war. Between you and me, there is a confusion. Rather than pursue, we sit and say, no, my God is bigger, your God is bigger. Let the goal clarity be very clear there. Okay? Kankshatan, kankshanta, karmanam, siddhi. Whatever you want, you will get. Karma, kamshanta, karmanam, siddhi. Yajanta iha devata. These devatas will give you what you want. If it's artha kama you want, you will get artha kama. Your effort is toward artha kama, you will get artha kama. Please understand, desire is a privilege. It is Ishvara Vibhuti. It is an expression of Ishvara's order. So Ishvara Vibhuti, Ichha Shakti is a Vibhuti, is a privilege. But that for Ichha to be converted into Phalam, you have to do karma. Karma is finite. Okay, finite action can produce only finite results. If that much intelligence you have, your life is easy. That is called bringing Ishvara into your life. I was reading a book today. A lovely book it was. I'll show you somewhere. Oh yeah, it's supporting my Ishvara is supporting my laptop, raising it a little bit. Okay, so Kangshanta Karmanam Siddhi Yajanta Iha Devata Shipram Hi Manushe Loke. Shipra here means with concentration. Okay. Shipram Hi Manusham Loke. Okay. If you do with concentration, the results also come to you quickly. Okay. You do it with concentration, you do it with focus, the results also come to you. Shipra comes to you very fast. Shigri aata hai. We go to verse number 13. Let's stand. Verse number 13. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam. Gunakarma vibhagashah. Gunakarma vibhagashah. Tasya kartaramapi mam. Tasya kartaramapi mam. Vidyak kartaramabhyayam. Vidyak kartaramabhyayam. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam. Gunakarma vibhagashah. Tasya kartaramapi mam. Vidyak kartaramabhyayam. So Chaturvarna. What is Chaturvarna? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. These categories among people, Maya Srishtam. I created them. Okay. Having created them, Tasya Kartaram. I am the creator. Okay. Okay. I am the creator. But understand, I am the creator, yet I am not the creator. Akarta. Okay. Lovely. So this creator, I am the creator, yet I am not the creator. He kya baat hai? What is this? We need a little insight. That's why last week also I mentioned, to understand Vedanta, to understand Vedic literature, we have to understand Bharata Varsha and the 5,000-year-old Param, 5,000 or even more, parampara we have to understand. It takes great depth to understand Vedanta and make it work for you. We can understand intellectually, give lectures and give after dinner speeches and say, wow, he speaks so well. But if you want Vedanta to work for you, if it is not working for you, what is the problem in doing it? If you want Vedanta to work for you, you have to understand it in depth. When it comes to the content, there is no difference at all. In absolute reality, there is no difference at all. In gold, there is no difference at all. In clay, there is no difference at all. In the base of your dream, there is no difference at all. Only you are there. Your REM is there. But the expression is variety over variety. Like I was seeing an ad the other day, introducing, what's that called? Next gen, a car, a particular car. Hey, why don't you just release one car and leave it at that? Go look. There will be about some 6 to 9 categories. Base model के ऊपर something, उसके ऊपर something with these features, minus these features, that thing. The top model will still not include some features. Variety is the spice of life. So he says, Chatur Varnyam. When it comes to matter, he says the composition of matter depending upon the Panchabhutas and the Sattva Rajas Tamo Guna became certain objects. Now, when it comes to people, people have again component in the body structure is based of Panchabhutas. The psychological structure is the Panchabhutas in a subtle form and Sattva Rajas Tamo Guna. What is your response to certain situation? Right? Or depending upon your composition. If you are a sattvic oriented person, perhaps you'll say, wait, come, don't raise your voice. You will even have wisdom. You will say, thunder doesn't grow flowers, rain grows flowers. So don't make noise. Another fellow will say, you shout once, those fellows will be all right. Give them once, they'll all be fine. They're also saying in Tamil, and in Tamil they say, Adi udavara mari annan thambi kuda udava mata. Meaning, like a good hit, even brothers won't help it. Good sound, ek baar maro sab theek hota hai, line mein aa jayega, they say. So what type are you? Or another fellow will say, chodo yaar, let me go the other way. What type are you? It's a combination of sattva, rajas, tamas. And based on this, there are 4 varnas. Brahmana varna, Kshatriya varna. These are 4 general varnas. Because of other factors, so many other varnas came in. That's not a subject matter of study. Someday, we can have a debate on that. Kshatriya varna, Vaishya varna, Shudra varna. The Vedas say this is how people are divided. Maya Srishtam, in my Srishti. Bhagavan did not sit down and make you are a Brahmana, you are a Kshatriya. The expression of creation, the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas combinations, in the mere presence of Ishvara, through Maya Shakti became all this. I'll use all this and people say, what Maya Shakti and things like that. We'll have to understand it, let me carefully and where the problem comes. And why our thinking is affected. Became all this. Now, it is worldwide phenomenon. It is not Indian phenomenon. People are like this worldwide. There are people who are educators, thinkers, scientists. There are people who go into warfare. There are people who go into commerce. There yet another group of people who go into physical labor. Even when it comes to wealth, how to create wealth, they show you a quadrant. The quadrant, the first quadrant is people who work for one person. They make some amount of money. There are some people who work for more than one person, professionals. They make some more money. There's a third group which does entrepreneurial work. They make even more money. Then comes a fourth quadrant who invest money. They make maximum. And when it comes to investor, there are so many divisions. When it comes to investment instruments, there are so many divisions. According to those divisions, you have those names. In a stock exchange, there used to be a fellow called a jobber. There's a fellow called a broker. You have names for positions. Let's go into the medical profession. How many specialists you have? You have a right ear specialist, you have a left ear specialist, you have an eye specialist. You have somebody who is an expert in growing hair, another fellow is expert in removing hair from the places you don't want them. Are there not people there? In any subject for that matter. There's a lawyer here. Oh, there's a lawyer. How many lawyers are there? They do on this side, that side. The bankers, how many bankers? So many. So these divisions happen according to the guna karma vibhagasha. So let's look at this a little more carefully. Okay. Any number of times I'm willing to handle this, but I would like you to look at it a little carefully, and then we have to remove certain conceptual subliminal programming that has happened to get it out of our system. There is a jati-based division. So there's a jati brahmana, a jati kshatriya, a jati vaishya, a jati shudra, determined by birth. Then there is a karma vibhaga, karma brahmana, there is a karma kshatriya, there is a karma vaishya, there is a karma shudra. Then comes a third division. There is a guna brahmana, there is a guna kshatriya, there is a guna vaishya, there is a guna shudra. When it comes to jati, there cannot be differences based on birth. This has to be very, very clearly understood. The Shastra does not divide or differentiate people based on your birth. But the problem is the birth cannot be changed. You come from parents. If you come from a Kshatriya parentage, you are called a Kshatriya by jati, by birth. Doesn't mean anything. It's just going to, they call you Caucasian. What are the divisions? Caucasians. Slavic race. Then you have the Mongoloid features. Then you have the Negroid features. You are not supposed to call them that because it hurts. Then you have the Indian. You are called brown skins. Is it not there in the world? Is there, no? And based on that, are there not divisions? Even a religion is based on that. Can you, sir? I tell you, there are some questions we don't ask because it's inconvenient. You have been told don't ask inconvenient questions. And you say, yes, yes, yes. Poor people, it will hurt them. Don't you ever think, will it not hurt you when they ask you questions? Somewhere along the way, something has happened to our system. You are not supposed to ask it. They can ask you any question. Ask a question if you want. Why can't Jesus Christ be black? Ask somebody. Why can't Jesus Christ have Chinese features? You will be burnt at stake. You are not inconvenient. No, they will get hurt. But they can tell you your Krishna is a womanizer. You won't get it. Is it? Kya baat hai? Sorry, it's not an actual subject matter. I want to think properly. So, there cannot be a division based on jati. Based on karma, I cannot call some karma superior, some karma inferior. They are like various parts of the body. Is the right hand superior, left hand superior? Right eye superior or left eye superior? Ears are more important or eyes are more important? Each organ, I know only one thing the medical person has to tell me. I don't know what's the use of the appendix. Maybe it's for the surgeons to do their first operation. I don't know. Every part of the body has a role to play. There is an order there. Which is superior, which is inferior. So based on karma, there cannot be a division. Based on guna, there can be a division. A Brahmana guna is more sattvic oriented. A person of integrity, a person of character, a refined person, a Sanskrita Purusha. There can be a superior person, superior in terms of superior character. Less than that person, but still superior to the rest, is a person who would like to die for his country. He says, for me, nation matters. I would lay down my life for my country. A young soldier passed away. Family has two young children, 9 and 6. The mother says one of them will join the army. They say, why? She says, why not? मैं जैसे पापा जैसे सोल्जर बनना चाहता हूं. Definitely. Vaishya definitely is a very important oil in the society. Commerce moves goods, creates wealth. But the Vaishya's job is considered a little inferior to the first two, because Vaishya first makes money for himself and the excess he tries to make for others. If there is a loss, he will say, first I have to protect myself, then I will protect others. So it's a Vaishya. There's a fourth category who comes and says, I will work, I must get my wages. And appropriate, I'll keep agitating for increased wages and things like that. So there is no division in terms of, there cannot be up-down in terms of birth. There cannot be up-downs in terms of work, but there can be up-downs in terms of aptitude and attitude. Let's take this a little further. Why didn't Sachin Tendulkar become a fast bowler? He wanted to, but his coach said, "Hey, kya baat hai? You can't be a fast bowler." Is there a discrimination? There's a fellow called a cricketer in here, Ashwin, one of fine all-rounders. He wanted to be a fast bowler. You're better suited for spin. Why? If there is a certain structure about him which does not suit a fast bowler structure. There's something about a structure which does not use a spinner structure. In football, there are backs. Why can't a fellow go and play in the forward? Because the structure is such that is more suitable for defense. Some people are goalkeepers. Not everybody can be a goalkeeper. Not everybody can be a wicketkeeper. So there are certain structures. In India, there was a structure. The structure was a combination of all three. If your father is a Brahman and did Brahman-related karma. See, Brahmana is not just a post. You have to some karma there. What was the karma? Do yaga, do homa, do puja. Some of them were good, they used to advise people on spiritual dharma. Should I do this or should I not? The advice will be, dharma says you should not do this. His son almost followed him because right from childhood he saw father do all this. I know a family where the father does all this, this antim sanskar work for people who come to yatra to their house. So one day, two of his sons are playing in the afternoon. Like, my son used to play. My daughter used to play. What will they play? My son, daughter will play bank. Come, exchange currency. So this Shastri guy's sons, two of his sons are playing. One son is seated like this. The first son is saying, go, I am doing Tarpana mantra, do Tarpana. Do Tarpana for your father. Do Tarpana. Father is watching. He says, you guys, you are doing Tarpana for me, man, actually. So by aptitude, by observing, they are into Tarpana, Puja, Homa. If the mother is inclined towards making good food and things like that, you watch the daughter, she will say, I am playing cooking. If the mother is inclined towards work and things like that, the child also takes those kind of acts. So the jati, the birth, automatically opened up certain avenues for karma, profession. But even fathers, and then whether that karma was suitable for this purpose or not, the Guru used to say, no, this doesn't suit you. You better do this. No, my father is doing. No, your father's aptitude is different. You cannot do that kind of standard kind of service. You better stick to this. My father is a great pravachana karta. Yeah, your father is a pravachana karta. You are fit for doing harmonium playing. So better do that. So though born in that, you could end up doing something else. Bhishma was a warrior. Kshatriya, but he was considered even greater than Brahmana when it comes to knowledge of the Shastras. Drona was born in a Brahmin family, but he was considered superior in Astra Shastra. Astra Shastra Shastra. Astra means that you throw. Shastra is that you hold. Missiles and weapons, handheld weapons. He was considered an expert on that. Though born a Brahmana, he was expert on that. And the society at that point of time, I'm talking about the Vedic society, did not suffer from employment-related anxiety or insecurity. I'm not recommending, I'm just giving you a objective situation. I am born in a Brahmana family. My father, grandfathers did puja, priesthood and things like that. I do not suffer from employment-related anxiety. ये आगे जाके क्या करेगा? I was 4, when I had a little bit of physical. I was attacked by polio. Everybody and his uncle used to come home, will ask this question. What ye kya karega? So they have decided that a handicapped person can't do anything. Somebody has to take care of him. No. The traditional society, this problem was not there. At least he will assist the father in his home. Free food he will get. Shraddh mein khana khane ke liye somebody will call you. Shraddhas used to happen. On the 10th day, there will be a Brahman bhojan in which you are given food and you will also be given dakshana umbrella, give slippers, give gold, give silver. You never had employment-related anxieties in your life. you are also free enough to try something else. Employment related, that kind of thing had its advantages. In advantages, I could follow what my father did, whether I may end up doing something which I don't like. Is it not there even today? Touch your heart. Whether suitable or not, one party wants to foist one fellow as a prime minister of this country. Why? Why? Ask the person the question. His father was there. His grandfather was there. His mother was there. Grandmother was there. Is that any criteria? But if I say that Brahmanas should do this kind of work, becomes no problem. You are Jati Vada, casteist. It is there in the society. You can't wish it away. You can't wish it away. The son of a cricketer will play for cricket. There's a cricketer called Sunil Gavaskar. His son. If he was not born of Sunil Gavaskar, that fellow would have got chance even in one club cricket. But the fellow almost ended up playing national. So Jati has its advantage. It is in practice. Don't cry foul and make it into politics. So there is a Jati, karma. But more importantly, guna. So it is now called Varna Ashrama Vyavastha. It is not a Jati, it is not any system. It is a Varna Ashrama Vyavastha, an infrastructure provided to you, where according to your aptitude, you could choose a profession, and the profession, if aligned to your family, did not create problems in the society for the peaceful prosperity of the society as a whole. But let's understand, any system has its fissures and fault lines, and the system had inbuilt yatha dharmasya we studied. Inbuilt, there were correction mechanisms. If somebody was differentiated on the basis of a caste, the person could go approach. Could approach. Definitely. There are stories which say you could approach and you could get relief for that. And some stories are meant to be understood differently. They immediately, and then if the moment you talk this in Tamil Nadu, they will quote one character, Karna. Caste system, so they threw Karna out of the war. I want to talk, in which case I'm going to tell them. There was a cricketer, an excellent cricketer called Karun Nair. There's one fellow who scored 300 runs. What happened to him? Why don't you talk about that? It's there everywhere. It's a fissure, it's a fault in the society. It will be there. Now let's go to history. This was a system. This was an education system. The education system was 12 years at home. Then I go to a Gurukula, 12 years at the Guru's place. Then I'm ready for Grihasthashram. Home plus Gurukula made me fit. Home gave me the background. The Guru looked at it. If for that or something else was determined, I went into this world. This was a system. Into this system came invasions from different faiths. I had no problem. Father had did worship of Ganesha, son did worship of Muruga. Yesterday I went to a temple. There was Shiva, there was Muruga, there was Shiva. I had no problem going to all three. We had no problems at all. I mean, if there were problems, they were solved, they were contained. All was contained. Then started the invasion. All these invasions, this is not politics, okay? All these invasions had an ideology. The ideology was not a religious ideology. It was a political ideology using religion as a dhal. So I have an army. My army man will not attack you. Why? He is a human, harmless fellow. Why should I attack him? This fellow said that fellow doesn't believe in your God. So your God says you can kill that fellow who doesn't believe in me. How? Fact how? Jihad. And if you kill for your God, you will be rewarded in heaven. What? Dead palms. I'm not against anybody. I'm against this indoctrination which went into your system, colonized you, and made you think, right, my system is faulty. Is that system not faulty? Then came another fellow, white-skinned, blue-eyed fellow. He invaded in a different form. He made you feel inferior. By what? By Agni Nakshatram wearing a coat. A knee-length coat in Agni Nakshatram. And using advanced weaponry. Koi hai. Made the feel the condescending, made you feel that your 5,000 year or more culture is barbaric. The entire civilization started, is it only 2,100 years ago or 2,200 years ago? Is it started only 1,400 years ago? This is how I have no problems talking to any other faith fellow. I have problem talking to fellow Hindus who have read half here, half there, half this, and they'll come in. Faulty system. Our system was bad. You as though that system was very good. Where is the red Indian race? In your own country, you live in reservations. Where is Australian aborigine? In your lifetime, please go to some of these African countries. Or if you go to America, talk to some of these Africans. Talk to them. If you can reach to them, they will tell you. If they followed some tribal culture, sound was there, invocation of God. Where is that? You couldn't touch India because of the depth of its beliefs. Ishvara, Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karana could not be touched. It is in the system. You could not touch it. Why? Because of Chatur Varnyam. If it were homogeneous, it could have been easily converted. Because of the heterogeneity, each person's worship is valid. Each person's God is valid. Your God is valid. Santoshi Ma is valid. Madurai Veeran is valid. I'll tell you one God called Khatu Sham is valid. Someday I'll tell you the story of Khatu Sham. He had another name, Barbarik. He is a grandson of Bhima. He is valid. In fact, before you go to war, you invoke Barbarik. Before you go to war. Everything is valid. That's why they can't touch you. You could convert a Murga follower. I am a Ganesha follower. You can't touch me. I am happy. You convert a Murga, then there is still a Shiva follower. You all convert all those followers. I am an Ayyappa follower. You can't touch me. You will get converted trying to convert. You couldn't touch me. But unfortunately, the damage happened especially in the latter half of 20th century, where you never got to study the real history of your culture. What's a nation? Which shares a past, which shares a future. That's a nation. What past do you share? Poor caste system. Backward. Still ringing bells and praying monkeys. What future do you have? Are you able to appreciate the kind of unfortunate damage that has happened to your system? It is in this background we have to understand this. Chatur Varnyam Maya Srishtam has to be understood in this background. It is a system. It was there. It was there in the system. And that system had fissures and fault lines, have been converted into a political drama to make it sound very, very bad. We are not talking for re-establishing all these systems. We are not talking for, what do you call, any kind of re-establishment, things like that. I want you to understand it from the background of history. So he says, when he says Maya system, there is not a system of discrimination. It is appreciation of a certain reality. This is how things are. There will be fissure. There will be faults. We have to be alive to correct it all the time. Therefore, now comes the next one. Namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spriha iti mam yobhijanati karmabhir nasa badhyate karmabhir nasa badhyate. Let's read it again. Namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spriha iti mam yobhijanati karmabhir nasa badhyate. So if you know, okay, mam abhijanati, if you know Srishti and understand it properly, okay, you will not sit on judgments over certain developments which have come in the past. You will not act, like they say, cutting the nose for spite, to spite the face kind of thing. You will introduce corrections where necessary. Even your personal life, rather than sit and look at, I was born in a wrong caste, I was not allowed to do this. Yes, there are faults in the society. Nobody justifies that. If on account of your birth you have been discriminated, it is a fault in the society. I should not sit tight. I should voice my protest appropriately. But to call the Vedic structure bad because I was discriminated is wrong. We are all discriminated somewhere. Everybody is discriminated on some counter. The other day there was some thing, they were doing a program. We are all going this place, that place, this place, this place. If you are physically not fit, don't join us. Then I asked them, why do you ask me to join, subscribe to your group? Either WhatsApp, money or other. So you have told them, only people who are physically fit can subscribe to us. Do you have all this? So, one who understands me, tattvataha, one who understands me properly, abhijanati, na badhyate, these conflicts, anxieties don't grip you. Therefore, go to the earlier one, Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. Go to Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. What does Ishvara Arpana Buddhi say? I have come in this lineage. I am the son of a Brahmana. Because of my background, I am doing Brahmana work. I have no resentment. I do Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. The results I take it as Ishvara Prasada Buddhi. Nowhere does it say that don't try to improve your standards. In the society, there are so many, if you go to South Indian, Tamil Nadu, Mylapore villages, there are so many Brahmana priests there who don't have a living. They were affected badly during this, pandemic and things like that. Even now, people are not following various religious practices. People are following, there are certain things which has happened. So, if you ask me, I would say, all these boys pursuing Brahmana profession, if you can call it that, the priesthood, should perhaps be trained in other economic, areas or avenues. He should be trained in something. So then it doesn't depend, because what happened in this Guna Karma Vibhagasha, they say if you are a Brahmana, if you are a Kshatriya, if you are a Vaishya, if you are a Shudra, money should not be top priority. Over a period of time, what has come? wealth creation has become top priority. So in this Brahma, Kshatriya, Vaishya, you automatically find out Vaishya has maximum scope for doing wealth creation. So let's all join that bandwagon. Or let us convert our activity, our karma, into an economic revenue generating activity. That's where the fissures have started happening. That's where the problems have started coming into the society. So therefore, Mam na limpante. If you are going to take, that is a deeper philosophy thing which we'll go into it later. Let us understand this much. If you find yourself in a certain station, I am a Brahman, I am this, I am a Kshatriya. So rather than will and wish that I be different, if you find you cannot change, do it with Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. At least the conflict is not there. And if you can bring about a certain change, and if you can do certain things, remember, always aligned with Dharma, you have the scope for not only improve your life, you can bring order in the society. If there is resentment, conflict in work, you suffer. And if you want to pursue Artha Kama in whatever way you want, you rub the order and the society suffers. Relating this direct to Arjuna, Krishna says to Arjuna, you think you are in the warfare, you are going to kill Bhishma, Drona and all these people and you will become bloodstained, your hands will be bloodstained, you will be a papi. That's your thought process. He says, if you understand all this is happening in my order, if Bhishma is standing on the opposite side, it's because of his karma. And because he has been siding with Adharma, he has to perish in this war field. If Drona is standing there, he is standing because he is helplessly in his dharma, vivashta. So it is not a running away from responsibility. It is not a running away from duty. It is non-limpati. You are not bound. You are free. You are not free from duty. You are not free from responsibility. You are free here in spite of your duty, in spite of your responsibility. I have a tough job to do. I am free here because Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, Ishvara Prasada. Here I'm properly, reconciled here. But if I'm going to do something with the resentment inside, it's not going to work. Okay, so this is verse number 15. When we go to verse number 15, it says, Evam nyatva kritam karma, evam nyatva kritam karma, purvairapi mumukshubihi, kuru karmaiva tasmatvam, purvai purvataram kritam, evam nyatva kritam karma, purvairapi mumukshubihi, kuru karmaiva tasmatvam, purvai purvataram kritam. First, let's say what Krishna tells Arjuna. He says, therefore, evam, knowing so, please do your action. Your father engaged in war. Your grandfathers engaged in war. You are a Kshatriya. Whether the enemy is your own people or from outside, you are a Kshatriya. You have come into the army, fight, because that is the order of the day. Don't come and tell me karma is there, Kshatriya, killing people is wrong. Papa meva, I will get all this. Don't give me all this. You just don't give me all this at all. That's not the subject matter here. This was done by your grandfathers. Do it that way. To us, he says, please understand that changes have come. Modernity has come. Modernity doesn't mean condemning everything indigenous. Modernity doesn't mean calling condescending and calling indigeneity inferior. There has been a culture which has been following itself, following for so long. Why don't you look at it? Why don't you look at it only from a Western prism? Someday, someday I'll talk about Indian economic order. Looking at the Western economic order, it may not work. But he says, why don't you look at it? There must be some wisdom. My great grandparents were not living on trees. They were not baboons. They were intelligent people. They led me to this. They made me a Sanskrita Purusha. Arjuna, you asked the right question to Krishna. So, evam yatva, knowing this, kuru karmam. And this is an established path for people who are otherwise seekers. For artha kama seeking people, this was the path. For moksha seeking people, this was the path. This has been well-established path for everybody. Mukshus have followed this. So why won't you? What is wrong in you doing it? There is nothing wrong. Okay. So kuru karmaiva tasmat tvam. So do what is expected of you. Please do it. Please do that karma. Purvaihi purvataram kritam. As it was done before. See, very often what will happen, let's take this sports field, okay? There's so much now. Another less than a little more than an hour, you will start. A great drama goes on in the name of cricket. Nice. Not plots, subplots. One team will lose 10 matches, suddenly win the remaining matches and end up in the knockout stage. All nice drama unfolding, nice storytelling unfolding. That will happen. Now, let's say you are a cricketer and you have not been getting your things working properly. You know what will they ask you to do? Go to the nets. Get your basics right. Play. Learn forward defense. Learn to pick up. Learn balance. Hey, I'm not getting, I've got my shoulder injury. And the shoulder injury is healed. Go back to the basics. Go back to the basics. When you are in doubt, go back to the basics. You have not something which has been condemned by in the last 2000 years, not into the last 60 years. Nothing worth condemning it. Why don't you look at it? There is so much wisdom there. There is so much wisdom. That's what I'm saying, wisdom. See, when I think more, some people think it's politics. This is not politics. What is Hindi or Sanskrit for geography? Bhugolam. Bhugolam. Since when was it called Bhugolam? Bhugolam is a subject. Akarshana. Eclipses and things like that were determined based on Akarshana. How come only this, it was discovered only a few centuries ago, and then ownership to that particular law? Shouldn't there be wisdom? Shouldn't there be an inquiry into this wisdom? It's called wisdom. So if a wise man would inquire, so if you inquired wisely, what would happen? You will not have regrets. If you are alive to realities, if you applied your wisdom, applying wisdom is called bringing Ishvara into your life. If you do that, you are free from all that bonds and pressures, internal pressures. Do this. This is what he says. Verse number 15. Okay, 16, there's a slight change of subject, which we will see later. But before we go to that, I would like to spend a few minutes for you. See what happens to a lot of people. Even if there's one person attending, I would teach that person. It's not a problem. This was started as a huge network with about 16, 20, 30 people, but slowly people have stopped coming. You know why? Because sufficient nididhyasana is not being done. It is being, you listen to it for, I'm not questioning anybody. You're going to listen to it for fun. Now, nice, it's nice. Makes sense. If you're going to, there's some, if you're driven by a Western education and if you're going to reinforce your Western concept of Vedas and things like that, is not meant for that. It is meant for a different purpose. Bhagavad Gita is meant, not just Bhagavad Gita, Vedic study is meant to transform you, touch you. And that the touching can be done only if you do nididhyasana. Okay? Let me quickly take you through this and then I dwell on it sometime when we talk more about Atma and things like that. I am a conscious being. The conscious being functions in the world through the body-mind sense complex. I am the conscious being. I am functioning through this body, which is an object of my knowledge. And through this body, I function in this world outside. And the world is an object. And as I'm functioning through this BMS, body-mind-sense complex, I have to play roles. Roles means pressures. Roles means ups and downs. And pain, pleasure, or a part of the role. And because I'm intimately associated with this body-mind-sense complex, the pain percolates down to me, the conscious being. And unless I learn to do nididhyasana, you will listen to all this and you will be a sad Bhagavad Gita student. How do I do nididhyasana is what I'm going to briefly introduce today, and I'll take it to a little further. There are 3 levels of nididhyasanas. Shravana Rupa Nididhyasana, Manana Rupa Nididhyasana, Vyavahara Rupa Nididhyasana. Shravana is you hear your glory. Tvam Brahman. You are limitless. Tvam Ananta Swarupam. You're listening to all this. It's your glory being told to you. Shravana Rupa Nididhyasanam. In Manana Rupa Nididhyasanam, you are going to convert this Tvam into Aham. You are limitless. I am limitless. This is Manana Rupa. You have to do it regularly, daily. Only then it will work. Not sporadically, not in Amavasai, not on the New Year's Day. Then comes the Nididhyasana Rupa, Vyavahara Rupa Nididhyasana, where you have to relate Aham Brahmasmi to every action in your life. You should never ever forget the green room personality that you are. Aham Brahmasmi. Vyavahara Rupa Nididhyasana is getting it into your system. Understanding, relating to Vedanta, and getting objectivity. When you are objective, you are emotionally grown-up person. And an emotionally grown-up person, you don't have to be indifferent. You don't have to distance yourself from anything because all the distance is in knowledge. You only then you will be able to objectively examine personal issues, world issues. Otherwise, you will fear. It's not inconvenient. I don't want to ask these questions because it's inconvenient. No, it is fear. You will live a sorry life. I wish I'd asked this question. Not just personal questions, even society questions. We have to, as a society, ask questions. If some of the ills in the society have to be corrected, we have to ask questions. Appropriate. So in our coming sessions, every day I will try to take you through a little bit of Vyavahara Rupa Nityaasana, how to insulate yourself initially, and then insulation becomes natural. Right now we are taking chances. Oh, this works well, that works well. All sadhana are valid. I'm not going to teach you a new sadhana. All sadhana are valid. If you're going through some meditation courses, fine. If you're learning yoga, fine. All sadhana are valid. Our effort is how to make this sadhana work for me. I attended this course, I attended that course. How are these courses going to work for you? That's how I've effort. Have a wonderful Friday. Swasti prajabhya paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahisha go brahmanebhya shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyaha prithvi sasya shalini desho yam shobharahitaha brahmana santu nirbhaya sarve bhavantu sukhinaha sarve santu niramaya sarve bhadrani pashyantu kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet asato ma satyamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritangamaya om purnamada purnamidam purnat purnamudachyate purnasya purnamadaya purnameva vasishyate om shanti 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 Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Sadgurunath Maharaj ki jai Swami Dayananda Maharaj ki jai सब संतों की जय हो बजरंग बली की जय हो पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय हो The last two sessions we had to handle a little bit of India's history in past might have sounded like they have all these names nomenclatures but these are something we have to be aware of. See, when we talk of India's past, India's past is closely linked to our Vedic past. So once you are aware of that, the rest of the thing will be easy. Otherwise, how you will never be able to explain Maya Srishtam Kriya. You will constantly read it as there is a system. In the system, Brahmins have treated all the rest of the castes very badly. Therefore, Brahmins singled out for political oppression. This view has to change. Not for anybody else, as a nation. That's a reason we have to examine these things. Oh, I don't intend to hurt any section or anybody for that matter, but certain reality we should come to face. It is not aimed at anybody, not aimed at hitting anyone or making them. Certain things has to be understood. This is how it is and this is how it is being used. There is a fault. We are not denying a fault. There is a fissure. We are not denying. But if somebody deliberately exploits, suppose I and my family, let's say at home, I and somebody argue, and somebody is working on this. Oh, these fellows argue. Let's work on it and create a division, like political differences created. A king had more than one queen. By inheritance, the first-born prince of the official queen became the Raja. Somebody comes and says, you are more qualified. Why should you not become? This is called exploiting the fault lines. And exploiting the fault line to my detriment of my generations, polluting my own thinking, manipulating my own thinking and thinking that my political masters are correct. My colonial masters are correct. That's what I'm trying to voice. Have a wonderful Friday.